I'm with a man who has charted his own path in Indian cinema boldly and bravely. And he has done it to set a benchmark for others to be brave. There's definitely more to Randeep Hooda than meets the eye. Randeep, thank you so much for being with Filmy Cafe.
Hi, thank you for having me. For a moment, I thought you were talking about somebody else. Till you took my name, I said, I'm in the right interview.
Excellent. Now, Randeep, Toronto, you're in Toronto for Beeba Boys. What was it that made you want to sign on for Beeba Boys?
Of course, Deepa Mehta being the main factor. I've always admired her work, especially her series Fire, Water and Earth. She's a very gutsy filmmaker. I think she's a very original voice and very honest. That was one thing. And here I had the opportunity of playing a mainstream North American character, which was not, only the funny accented taxi driver and the computer geek who'll come fix your software. No, so that was a great opportunity. I felt that there, because it breaks stereotypes. Usually, the East Europeans or Italians are the people who play these roles, and here these very tragic circumstances that were happening in Vancouver. It's a bit better now, but it's still not very clean. And to be able to portray that was great, because there have been a lot of incidents, especially in Australia where I studied, where people Southeast Asians being beaten up just because they are Southeast Asians. People found them easy targets. They spit in your face and you say, "Oh, thank you, come again." So here was a character who'll bust your balls if you mess with these people. Yeah. So that was very, very important. It was like playing an Indian Bruce Lee. Yeah.
Do you see characters, Randeep, as, this is a black character, this is a white character, this is a grey character? Do you see those, shades in roles? And where does Jeet fall, according to you, if you do?
I've never come across a character who's black and white, at least not the ones I have done. I don't think that exists in the world. It was an old cinematic theory about villain, hero and all that. I think that's been out of the window for a long time. I think all people are grey. You'd meet people and say, "Oh yeah, he's very nice," then you meet another person and talk about not so favorably about that person. So we differ from people to people in relationship to relationship. So I don't find that there are any black and whites. And the human side, the grey side, where the circumstances, the choices, and the conflict within oneself is what makes us human and what draws me to all characters. Even if they don't have it, I fill it in.
Yep. You were mentioning about you were, for a portion of your life, you were in Australia, and you had
cabs in Australia for 3 years, night shift. Yeah.
You were exposed to the racism that exists in society overall, generally speaking.
I wasn't, but there were a lot of people around me who were. I was a bit more like these Indo-Canadian gangsters, so I got away with a lot.
How did you prep for Jeet with that context? How aware were you of what was happening in Vancouver, or the scene there, and how did you prep for Jeet? How did you make this guy come to life?
See, if you look at it from an Indo-Canadian aspect and how I prepped for it, well, I'm Indian and I've known about the Sikh community for a long time. I've read their scriptures, I'm very, very well versed with that religion or chain of thought or an aspect. So that was not hard. Human beings are the same all across the world. But I did spend a lot of time with a chap called Jagdeep Mangat, who really helped me, who gave me the larger picture of what is outside the script so that I can find context in it. He's a reformed gangster himself. He's now an immigration lawyer, a very successful one, and he's a prime example of, of somebody who's gotten out of it and made a life for himself in more legal terms, so to speak. It's funny, he's a lawyer. But that's very, he's a great example of that. But prep part is, it's all usually in the script, and you have to find it within yourself. those aspects of the character and then kind of bring them forth. So I guess I've been prepping for all my roles all my life. I just have to pull them out of the hat.
Sounds good to me.
It's not that easy. I'm trying
Yeah.
to I'm trying to
Make
make
it sound easy.
yeah, but it's the same thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I go through the same set of nerves before I start a movie and wonder if they're now going to discover that I don't know my job. This time around, now they will know, and so in that fear, I feel, which feeds me a lot, I tend to, but I do tend to become the job I'm doing. Yeah.
You filmed Beeba Boys is shot mostly in Toronto. How is it being a part of a Canadian production and working with a Canadian crew and the whole team on this film?
It was good. They were very impersonal, very regimented, and 10:15 you have to be here, 10:25 you have to be there. Back home we are a bit more easy about it. And it's interesting because it makes the whole process easier for everybody. But back home, man, if you look at amount of work, like let's say even I have done, you can get away with murder. You can turn up a bit late. It's okay.
I think you got away with murder, right? Was it Murder 2, 3?
Oh.
Correct?
That's one movie I didn't get away with. Bad hair wig, bad script. It was just did not gel well. That was, I think, one of, I didn't feel so good. I didn't get away with that murder, for sure. But I've gotten away with other murders, I'm a slow starter in the morning. I take a little time to get the machinery going. Like if we had started these interviews now, I would have done better. In all the interviews I've done since 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm not really a morning person. So apart from that, it was very nice, in India, in our filmmaking, 20 people do the same job that 2 people do here. I guess that they get paid less, and it's a lot many more people to employ. So that model kind of works. But it's different here. It's different. They're impersonal. They're very they ask you how you are and all that, but they don't give a shit. But yeah, they're polite, and it's nice.
I was just looking at over your career thus far, doing some research. Rang Rasya is based on a real life character. Beeba Boys is partially influenced by the reality.
Right.
Now you have Charles, Mayor Charles. Yeah. So what fascinates you?
Dawood also.
Correct.
That encounter specialist Daya Nayak also.
Yeah.
I have there's some other. I'm going to be playing Sarabjeet, the guy who was in Pakistani prison for a long time. Yeah.
Fascinates you about these real life roles that you're like, I'd like to sign on. Let me do this.
It's not just me. I also get approached for such roles. I pride myself in my ability to change my chain of thought and my appearance, and overhaul my person. Or I try to, in most roles. Whereas in India, it is very accepted that you play yourself over and over again, and that actually makes you a big star. You don't change your look or your clothes even sometimes. You play the same character over and over again, and that sense of identification becomes larger than you as an actor, and that's what makes you a Bollywood star. I've always fought against it, to my peril. It took me a long time and very little steps, and many steps to kind of have this identity that I am known as well as I am able to do different kinds of work.
Right.
But yeah, that said, a career is made out of not only what you choose, it's also what you get. So I think I've been very fortunate in that sense.
You haven't had a conventional choreograph. You just spoke about this. How do you view your own journey as an actor? Are you able to take a step back and see how you've done so far?
Sometimes I really wonder if I was to do it all over again, I don't think I'll make it. There is a lot of serendipity involved, for sure. No, man, in all that singing and dancing, to be a leading man without doing it is not easy. You have to, go. You have to be careful, and you have to be lucky, I guess. But once you get the job, then it's up to you to put in all you can. And I live in perpetual fear that I can do better. What if I'm not able to live up to my potential? That'll kill me. So in that fear, I guess I work very hard.
What does the road ahead hold for Randeep Hooda? What can we look forward to? You touched upon the Sarabjit project and what you're working on. Tell me films, tell me what are you doing outside of films? What does the road ahead? You're big into horse riding and all that. So tell me about what the road ahead looks for yourself.
I don't know. I don't know. I have got I usually go project by project. And it's uncertain, the road ahead, but definitely I would, this opportunity to work in Beeba Boys and to work in Canada, North America. I am hoping that it opens more doors for me here and I can come back and do a lot more work here. I've always, even there, they say, oh, you're more Hollywood than Bollywood. So I'm hoping that, people see some potential and keep calling me back to do more work here.
Yeah.
That's what I'd be hoping for. Apart from that, I'm just going to inaugurate my first riding polo club. My team, I've rehauled, and it's called Royal Roosters. So we'll be playing the season in a big way this year. We're going to be coming and playing in the US Open as well for polo. So all those things are happening, but I wonder if I'll have work next year. Yeah, it's a bit like that. It's not, as you said, it's not been a conventional journey. So when you are in that unconventional journey, it's very uncertain whether you're going to have that job. You're going to have that big movie next year or not. But somehow I feel if you keep working hard and you keep your intentions pure and your art in doubt, you keep getting more work.
But Sarabjit, you are on for sure. You've signed on for that film, and you're shooting a film right now as well, right?
I'm shooting a film called Ye Lal Rang. It's about a blood mafia in Karnal. This happened in 2002. These bunch of boys, they started, there's a rule that if you take blood from the blood bank, you have to donate back. So they started selling that blood and started bleeding rickshawalas at random, and there was a couple of HIV cases for that. So it's a movie about that, set in that milieu, but it's more about friendship and love, as movies are. So that, and hopefully Sarabjit. Preliminary talks are on. I'm on for the movie. Let's see if we can, collaborate together. I've still to meet the director much because I've been working so much. I have to go sit down with him and see what he has in mind. But Umang is a good director. He made Maricom, which was a fairly decent film, considering he had the restrictions of having a very big star in it. So I'm hoping that that works out well. And that's another world. How do you imagine yourself as a person who's been behind bars for 22 years in a cell in 6 feet by 3 feet? How would you be if you're in that cell for 23 years of your life? That's what I'm wondering.
Well, keep us wondering, and we'll keep watching everything that you do. Congratulations on the journey thus far. The road ahead should be incredible as well.
I hope so. I hope God listens to you.